Happy Sunday. We have Mr. Tuan Pham of SolarHost SA. First of all, I want to say thank you for hanging out with us today, sir.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
it's a pleasure.
We were talking about this in the green room. Very exciting. I feel that as real estate agents, we come across these questions, right, Bob, all the time, like, should I go solar? Should I spend tens of thousands of dollars? Yeah. Am I ever going to get my money back? Because the worst part about it on the residential side is that Bob's the best at is that when they always ask, like, should I? We get the phone call from a client that bought a house 3-4 years ago. Should I buy it? I'm going to make my money back. Is it good? And we say, like, well, there's really no value to it. People don't drive around San Antonio with real estate agents asking, does it have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and solar panels? It's just not a thing. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of milk the sun out of it, right, in order for it to be feasible. But I think you're now with SolarHost SA, you might be filling in that need. So let's talk about it. What is SolarHost SA? What are you guys are doing here in San Antonio? And how can people get involved?
So it's a new program, and it's very different than any other solar program that's in the country, in the world. Mm-hmm. And so instead of the homeowner actually owning the solar panels, we, PowerFin, who work with CPS, we own the solar panels. So it's free to the homeowner. So all they do is they allow for us to locate our systems, our solar systems on their roofs, and they get a monthly credit, for whatever we generate on their roof.
So for the most part, you jump over that hurdle of the expense.
That's right. It actually is, and I know a lot of times, within the solar industry, people claim that it's free, right? Well, right. In fact, it is free. The customer, the homeowner, does not have to pay a dime, to have this solar system on their roof.
So, yeah, because that's the biggest thing is that people are like, I'm not going to invest that much money, come out of pocket. A lot of people are financing it. This is all taken away. You guys are out there looking for roofs for the most part, people that want to be a partner with you to not only get some solar, which is good for everyone, but also be able to benefit from that in their own way as well.
Yeah. So on average, your typical residential customer is going to save about 30% on their average monthly electricity bill. And again, it doesn't cost them anything, so there's no question of is this a good investment, because it's not an investment.
Yeah.
It's actually
it's just a discount. It's like a free discount.
It's a free discount. That's right.
Who's responsible for the solar panel once it's on the house?
Yeah, so we, throughout the 20-plus year life of the system, we go out twice a year to wash the panels, and we go out once a year to check on them. And at the same time, we have monitoring software that allows for us to know exactly how much each one of the systems is generating at any time. So if it goes down, then we can send somebody out to the home to fix whatever problem there may be. There typically aren't a whole lot of problems, but to answer the question is we take care of everything.
Because it's your equipment.
It's our equipment.
Yeah,
that's right.
You just borrow the roof.
That's right.
So I'm looking for solar panels. Can you give me some pros and cons for me going to a company and buying, other than the obvious reason that I'd be spending a ton of money, and then or going with you guys? Yeah.
So with us, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's more simple. You come in, you go to our website, solarhostsa.com. There's an application. You put in your name, your address, and then we do the analysis to determine if your home is a good candidate for the program.
We do drive around and say sometimes, like, this neighborhood's like hot. And so it's like, right? It's sometimes where you go, and I'm sure that there's some that are better than others.
What makes
right?
a home a good candidate?
Generally, if it's south or west facing, that, and then if it doesn't have a whole lot of tree coverage.
What about like a flat roof home?
A flat roof is actually ideal.
That's the best.
Yeah, that's the best, because we generally want, because we're in the northern hemisphere, we want our solar panels to face south and sometimes west facing. But if you've got a roof that's north facing, then that side of the house is just not as ideal. If you have a flat roof, then we can angle the modules at any angle, and therefore set it up so that it's completely south facing.
I'm literally building a house with a flat roof. So how much of the real estate do I have to give up of because it's a rooftop deck? So how much of that real estate do
I mean, you don't have to brag because all mobile homes are flat.
I know.
Well, yeah, I mean, every roof is a little bit different. It depends on the size of the system that we'd locate, but we could, occupy. And actually, with our program, we don't have to necessarily size it to how much you're consuming.
Right.
We size it to how much room there is on the roof. So we would want to maximize the amount of utilization of your roof, and then you would end up actually getting more of a credit under our program.
Cool. So let's talk about why this is so beneficial with the partnership to CPS, because you guys are kind of quarterbacking the wattage that is happening all over.
Yeah, I mean that's something that is often overlooked. If you look at a map of San Antonio, for instance, I mean, in instances where people are able to, pay for a solar system, right, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, it ends up being located in a certain part of town, and you can kind of think of CPS's grid as kind of like a motherboard, right, a CPU, and if you've got all of your transistors and all of your circuits on one side of the motherboard, then the motherboard's not operating optimally. Well, CPS has to operate that motherboard and provide access and electricity to all parts of its service area. And so for us to help balance that out, instead of having all of the solar generation in one part of town or one part of that motherboard, we can spread it out.
So instead of these huge solar farms that are in parts of San Antonio, you have little gardens all over in people's roofs that have the most sun exposure and that can help you distribute the wattage.
That's right. You hit it right on the head. It's distribute.
Mm-hmm.
And so as opposed to a solar farm that's not located in San Antonio, we're also providing distribution value. And so when you pay for your electricity bill, only about 30% of that is the energy that would come from a solar farm or a natural gas facility. The other 70% comes from the cost of distribution. And we are able to provide that value to the utility, who then passes it on to the community.
Quick takeaway, Tuan. So if your house is facing, what are the better ways for your house to face?
Not north.
South and west.
South and west. So if you have a house facing south or west, or any house at all, go to SolarHostSA.com, put an application. Thanks, Tuan, for hanging out with us. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back with Bobby and JJ Radio.